ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Verse 66 विक्षिप्यते कदाचिद्धीः कर्मणा भोगदायिना पुनः समाहिता सा स्यात् तदैवाभ्यासपाठवात्. So after dealing with Shastriya Jivasishtadvaitam and Tivra Ashastriya Jivasishtadvaitam, now Vidyaranya deals with the Manda Ashastriya Jivasishtadvaitam, and for that there is another word called Vikshepaha, there is another word called restlessness, you can call it chattering of the mind, you can call Manorajyam. Vidyaranya uses the word Manorajyam. And in Tattvabodha language, this same Manda Ashastriya Jivasishtadvaitam can be called as a lack of Samadhi Shatka Sampatti, absence of Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. So all this problem would not arise at all if person has a Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. If Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti is there, Manorajyam will not be there. And therefore, then Shravanam becomes it is more than sufficient to give jnanam. So we have to talk about this nididhyasanam, because when one exposes oneself to the Vedanta without adequate sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, then definitely nididhyasam takes care of this sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Because it shows that pramata is not well equipped, and so he is basically a knower who operates shastra pramana. That's how we call pramata. And rule is pramanam can generate knowledge when the pramata is well equipped. So without sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, this student is not a healthy pramata. And because of this reason, shastra pramanam is not able to do a good job. So if shastra pramanam is not able to do a good job, it is not a mistake of pramanam or shastra. It is a nirdushtam actually, it's a Veda, and therefore it is free from any defects. And so Shastra is a nirdosha, innocent, free from any defects, and still knowledge does not arise, then definitely there will be defect in Pramata itself. And with the same Shastra Pramanam works in some other cases. Certain people gain knowledge also. And so Shastra Pramanam has no defect. Only Pramata has that kind of a defect. And in Kenopanishad we saw also, we have found one Shrota who declared that, he knows the Atma, right? Naham mannesu vedeti, nona vedeti vedacha. Yonas tadveda tadveda. And not only that, he says, what a person among all these people who are sitting here, one who knows my statement, knows of Brahman. So I know Brahman, that's one thing. But one who understands my statement that I know Brahman, also knows Brahman. So Yonas tadveda tadveda, nona vedeti vedacha, etc. We have seen that actually. So that shows pramana works. Pramana works in one case and pramana does not work in another case. well, there is a defect in pramata, not in pramana. And therefore, so if transaction is not smooth, it's not defect of basically, transaction means gaining knowledge, etc. So it is not a defect of pramanam, it's a defect of pramata. And therefore, after even Vedantic study, if jnanam is not clear, that's what he is going to talk about. Vidyaranya is interested that somehow we should get knowledge. So he is going to show several means in this Pancadasi. And so, if jnanam is not clear, well, check deficiency in pramata. And there are several problems. Lack of vairagyam, vivekam, etc. Shamadhi, satka sampatti may not be sufficient. Mumukshutvam will be not so intense. So desire for moksha is not intense. It's just a part of life. Attending classes and whenever find time, read something, and then okay, let life goes like that. So there is tivra mumukshutvam also is not there. Titiksha is not there much, etc. So all these problems are there. And therefore Nididhyasanam is acquiring the sadhana chatushte sampatti in retrospective effect. So if Nididhyasanam is practiced, knowledge gained through Shravanam seems to be improved. Ultimately, there are various means by which one can make one's own Shravanam more effective. That's all it means. Shravanam is very, you just exposed to the teaching, and Shravanam, so it is accessible. But Shravanam becomes effective or not, only Shravanam generates knowledge. We should be very clear. Only Shravanam generates knowledge. Mananam and Nididhyasanam has no role to generate knowledge. Mananam and Nididhyasanam has a role in something else. Mananam makes your knowledge free from doubt. Nididhyasanam, definitely will remove your certain disturbing thought patterns, will make you prepare for ultimately assimilating knowledge, and therefore Nididhyasanam does not generate knowledge, and Mananam does not generate knowledge. Shravanam only generates knowledge, and therefore one has to make Shravanam more effective. To make Shravanam more effective, Pramata, the Shrota, has to be well equipped, and therefore this Nididhyasanam itself now makes the Shravanam more effective, because you have a gain knowledge, but knowledge is not assimilated. In that case, definitely it works. And so, this has been said in verse number 65. We have seen that Vicharitam alam shastram chiram udgrahitam mitha santyakta vasana nauna nrute nastyuttamam varam nastyuttamam padam. So, Vicharitam alam shastram, so indicates Shravanam, we talked about it. Chiram udgrahitam mitha, which will you discuss, etc. So that is to remove doubts, etc. That indicates Mananam. And Santyakta Vasanad Mauna, Santyakta Vasana means Viparita Bhavana, Dehatma Bhavana. And so, Mauna Drute Nastyuttamam Padam. So Santyakta Vasana. So basically all these Vasanas, Dehatma Bhavanas are gone from the person. And what will be the consequence? Maunam, consequence is mental silence. So somebody asked me, mental silence means, Swamiji, his mind does not think at all now. All the time mind is in thoughtless state. No, don't think. Jnani thinks too much. And therefore, so mental silence is nothing but, free from disturbing thoughts. That's all. It's not he stops thinking. If mind stops thinking, we should not go into that, because this is all made by Ishvara, and therefore, we are going against the Ishvara's order, and that too with the help of Veda. This is somehow, I don't know why this kind of thing. People have a lot of fancy about this thoughtless state and etc. It's totally unnatural. Honestly, it is unnatural. You may require a thoughtless state for some time, it gives a peace you and the people around. That's a different issue. But basically, in a thoughtless state, how knowledge takes place? How knowledge takes place? People think thoughtless state and also it becomes jnani. It's a height of foolishness. And therefore, any knowledge takes place with the help of thought. And therefore, if knowledge gives you moksha, then definitely thought should be there. Then if thought should be there, well, I have all the thoughts. Why knowledge is not taking place? One person asked me like that. If I said thought is required for gaining knowledge, and he said, I am all the time thinking, but knowledge does not take place. That's how we say. Certain thought patterns has to be removed. That's all it is. And that is disturbing thought patterns has to be removed. That is called mental silence. That is called maunam here. And so Nididhyasanam helps in that. And so now no more burdensome thoughts, which he would really struggle to eliminate. So he does not want to eliminate also because they are not burden. Now whatever are there, this is called vasanakshaya. This is called vasana. Samaji, vasanakshaya. Vasanakshaya means all these kind of vasanas. Actually, dehatma, bhavana, etc. has to go with the help of Nididhyasanam. And when it is accomplished, mind enjoys silence. So this is Jivan Mukti. And well, how do you recognize this silence, Shanti? And we have one method called FIR. By studying FIR, well, it's a testing method of our mind, by which we can understand the mind has a silence or not. So, well, this FIR, of course we discussed and we will see that. So either with the people or without people, I mean, some people are disturbed with the people and they are more quiet when they are with themselves. Some people are very disturbed when they are alone, and when they are with the people they are more quiet. I mean, they have a more mental silence. So basically, study frequency, intensity, and recovery period. It should reduce. What is that? So frequency and intensity. Frequency of any this wrong thinking pattern, all this disturbing thought patterns, frequency is reducing or not. That's one thing. Intensity also should reduce. Well, how deep the disturbance is? Well, intense disturbance expressed at 3 levels. Physical level, verbal level, and mental level. And well, medium disturbance expresses at 2 levels, verbal level and mental level. And you have a weak disturbance of the mind, well, expresses at a mental level only. So even others don't know about it. So this reduction of intensity of disturbing thought patterns also indicates a success of a Nididhyasana. So that should reduce slowly. As you do Nididhyasanam, this intensity of this disturbing thought patterns from 3 to 2 to 1, means at the 3 levels, from that it comes to 2 levels, and now reduces just to the mental level. So this is regarding intensity. Frequency I told first, and then reduction in recovery period also. Well, so after disturbance, how long it will take for me to come to the normal state? And so, based on that, we can understand that, well, I have a certain degree of a mental silence. So mental silence or Shanti is measured with this method called FIR. Frequency, intensity, and recovery period from a disturbing thought pattern should reduce. Then Shanti increases. It's an inversely proportional thing. So, then question, well, he was, can FIR be reduced to 0% or not? So, if FIR reduction is through Nididhyasana. So, can it be reduced to 0% or not? It cannot be reduced to 0%. It becomes lesser and lesser. There is it reverse in proportion, we should say. Frequently, I was generally disturbed, but now and then was quiet. When I attend a class, or when I go to ashram, when I go to certain place, go to temple, I feel a quietude. Other than that, I used to remain disturbed. That was initial thing. And now, well, after this Nididhyasanam, etc., and then once in a while I get disturbed. And that disturbance also is just at a mental level, and it is highly manageable by the person himself. And so, without any external assistance, I am able to manage with my disturbing thought patterns. So, I mean, I have got internal sources. These internal sources is nothing but your Shravanam only. Now Shravanam is becoming effective now. So earlier Shravanam was done and Mananam was done, but that was there, knowledge was there in the head. Now you are in the process of assimilation, and therefore Shravanam has become effective. So this is the internal source. Internal source is nothing but this knowledge of this Vedanta. Well, ultimately helps you to manage these disturbances just at the level of mind. So that is said here in this verse, Kadachit dhihi vikshipyate. Kadachit, sometime. As knowledge becomes clearer and clearer, assimilation becomes deeper and deeper. We call this as a Jnana Paripaka. This is how, in Sanskritam, in our Shastra uses this word, Jnana Paripaka, means your knowledge has as though ripened now. Mind is becoming free from manorajyam, etc. And even in such a Jnani, Vidyaranya says, well, kadachit dhihi vikshipyate. Once in a while his mind is disturbed. But well, it is reached at such a level that it is just at the mental level, not even at the level of a verbal level or at a physical level, not even at the level of facial expression also. So even something is going on in his head, nobody knows also. So but then why should it happen to such a person? One who has done Shravanam, Mananam and done a long Nididhyasanam to remove Manorajyam, why this disturbance should occur to him? Because Vidyaranya says, Kadachit dihi vikshipyate. In such a Jnani also, sometimes his mind will be disturbed. Then there must be cause. What is the cause? He says, Karmana. Well, Karmana. Because of Prarabdha Karma, it comes due to some event. And I just suddenly remembered that in the Kumbhakonam before few years, in one school, so many children just died out of, there was a fire accident and all are burnt. So now even if you think of this, after many years I get disturbed. You may also get disturbed. So any kind of any event, it may be at a physical level, it may be at a family level, it may be at a national level, it may be international level also. That Jnani may be moving around in the world. And certain international event also, well, affecting our religion, etc., will affect his head. So karmana, any type of prarabdha karma can bring disturbance in his mind. And then what happens? But that vikshepa is at a mental level, well, other people don't know at all. Tada eva, instantaneously, because Jnani's mind is very sensitive. So he recognizes that event. He recognizes that disturbance. And because he as a sadhaka, he has led a very alert life, and therefore instantaneously, tada eva means instantaneously a red light burns in his head that this is something wrong is going on, etc. So then what will he do? He will just sit down? No. Abhyasa patavat. Because of his skill in Nididhyasanam, patoho bhavaha patavam, etc. Patu means a clever. Patoho bhavaha patavam or bhavam patavam. Cleverness. Because of his cleverness, this skill in Nididhyasanam, these Vedantic thoughts are used to neutralize that disturbance. It's a self-medication for him. So, Tadai means instantaneously he is wise enough to postpone that decisions in life because of disturbance is there, therefore he won't go further. He won't take any decision. Whose mind is very, at that time he won't take any decision. And he brings the mind to the quietude, well, because that kind of a skill he has. And this recovery period comes down as a result of Jnana Nishtha. So in FIR, I told you the recovery period, frequency, intensity and recovery period should reduce. So this is recovery period. So once our mind is disturbed, it will remain disturbed for days together. And not only that, everybody will know. Everybody who is around will know. From our facial expression or from, it expresses at even physical level also. But his disturbance will remain just at the mental level, and that too not even a change in a facial expression also, but he will neutralize it with his skills, etc. And so that's called recovery period has reduced in his case, right? So he got recovery faster. as a result of Jnana Paripaka, as a result of Jnana Nishtha also you can call. So, well, this is how we can understand. So how, whether my mind has got a silence or not, whether my mind is free from disturbing thoughts or not, how will I know? FIR. So with this, this FIR is really a good thing to remember. Anyway, so with this Ashastriya Mandas Jiva Srishta Dvaitam topic is over. Verse number 59, we started in verse number 59, and in verse number 66, that topic is over. Now everything is over. So now imagine this person who has sufficiently handled all three types of Jiva Srishta Dvaitam, Shastriya Jiva Srishta Dvaitam, Tivra Shastriya Jiva Srishta Dvaitam, and Manda Shastriya Jiva Srishta Dvaitam. So then, well, everything is handled. So now he does not require even Nididhyasanam practice also. He enjoys healthy mind and with a right knowledge, etc. And that kind of a phalam, that kind of a result is indicated now in two verses. Verse number 67 and verse number 68 is a topic of Jiva Srishta Dvaita Nivrutti Phalam, a result of this elimination of Jiva Srishta Dvaitam. How many types of Jiva Srishta Dvaitam? Three types. Shastriyam and Ashastriyam are of two, Tivram and Manda. Let's go to verse number 67. Vikshepo yasya nastyasya brahma vitvam na manyate brahmaivayamiti prahuhu munayah paradarshinaha. So because of this long nididhyasanam, long abhyasa, well, Vikshepa has come down to a very insignificant level now. There is no question of a zero level, please understand that. Totally free from disturbance throughout the life now. No, it won't be. Because ideal mind does not exist. Just as 100% healthy body does not exist. Anytime you go, I tell you, you may feel that you are fit all the way with all the exercise and everything. And you go for a master checkup. I tell you, iron deficiency will come, that deficiency will come, vitamin B12 will be something less, or D3 will be less, that will be less, that something will be there. Somewhere, in the whole, some readings are there, all numbers. Somewhere they will show with the red line, means this is more. Or nothing, then triglyceride may be little more. And that LDL will be less. And this, more, LDL will be more, I'm sorry. And then HDL will be less. Something will be there. A total checkup, when you go for, you will find something, some or other problem. Means 100% healthy body does not exist. Physical body. Then why should 100% subtle body should be there? Healthy subtle body should be there? It cannot be. It can never be. And so 100% mental health also does not exist. So in case of this Gunatita also, Jnani also, this kind of disturbances will be there. And disturbances are in Guna actually. He is a Gunatita, but the disturbances are in Guna. And therefore he is not affected. That's another thing. So either there is a Rajoguna or a Tamoguna, it will be dominant. Even in a Jnani. How will you, Swami, you have a lot of daring to say. So, I don't have daring. I am just quoting what Bhagavan said. In the very first verse, Prakashancha, Pravrittincha, Mohamevacha Pandava, etc. etc. Prakasham, Sattva, Pravritti, Rajoguna, Moha, Tamoguna. Even in a Gunatita Prakaranam, in 16th chapter, very first verse while describing about, first verse means in a description of the Gunatita in a Jnani, Bhagavan said, well, all these gunas will arise in him because gunas does not arise in Atma. Gunas arise in mind. That is made up of guna only. And therefore, Atma is a nirguna. And therefore, in him all these gunas do not arise. And therefore, basically, even for a Gunatita Jnani, mind is sagunam. And so, moha also can arise. So, vikshepa can arise. And it can come down, but of course, compared to you and me, Jnani has vikshepa to a very, very ignorable level. So, yasya vikshepaha nasti, as vikshepa comes down to ignorable level, this jnanam becomes jnananishtha. Jnanam is pakvam, mature, ripe. And he is a Brahmavit. We call it as a Brahmavit. So he has this apratibandhaka jnanam. His apratibandhak means there is no pratibandha in his jnanam. Then it turns to jnana-nishtha. We also have a jnanam right now. So much of jnanam we have of the Vedanta. But there is a pratibandha. There is an obstruction. That obstruction is on nothing but sadhana chatushtaya, lack of sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, lack of qualification, and what we call manorajyam, what we call vikshepa, or restlessness, etc. Well, that is the obstruction that goes away with the help of nididhyasanam we saw. And so now it is not obstructed by this dehatma bhavana, etc. also, viparita bhavana. And so, but this knowledge belongs to ahankara. And so his ego is an enlightened ego, we call. And is most healthy ahankara. And one interesting phenomena occurs in the jnani is when ego is a healthy one, jnani loses identification with his ego. And he does not claim that I am jnani. Because to claim I am jnani is also in the form of a anatma vimana only. So, because you identify with the ego. And therefore, I am jnani when you say you identify with the ego. So, what happens is when ego becomes healthy, automatically you lose an identification with the healthy thing. But in healthy thing, we lose identification. Yeah, that is true generally, in fact. So, in his case, ahankara is healthy, very healthy. I will tell you how it is. So, ahankara vimana goes away. So, well, he says, I am not a jnani or I am not a jnani. I am vilakshana. I am distinct from both. I am not a bound, I am not a free, etc. But I am distinct from this bondage and freedom. So, this is generally true. When body is healthy, we don't have a identification with the body. So if I tell you tell me, Swamiji, I will sit down in the class, and you sit comfortably for 1 hour, and and you have forgotten for 1 hour in a class, you have forgotten your body. But if one of the part in the body has some pain, then there is a abhimana in that. You in your awareness, your body is all the time there. You identify with that also. So, always any sick portion will definitely will invite abhimana. Any sick portion, anywhere. If your mind is also sick, your mind will definitely, all the time your attention goes to that. But your mind is healthy, you don't feel that you have mind at all. So that is how it is. So if Jnani's ahankara also is now very healthy, is perfect, because it has become actually, it is free from sickness. The first sickness is ajnana. Second sickness is a doubt. And third sickness is a vikshepa. This is manorajyam, disturbing thoughts, etc. So his ego is free from all the three, mala, vikshepa and ajnana. And therefore, his ego, which we call enlightened ego, is really a lightened ego actually. It is very light because these three things have gone. And therefore, he does not have abhimana that I am jnani, I am mukta, etc. And you can see that. We should not criticize, but you can see that more the impurities, more the person is egoistic. Person is egoistic because in general terms also, let's not go to Vedanta. Even in general terms also, more the ragadveshas, more the ego, and very difficult to disidentify with that. That's how they say with the karma yoga, upasana, etc., make the ego light, very, very light. And such a light ego will surrender to Ishvara with to the knowledge, Mahavatya, and says, I am Brahman, I am free from even ego also. So this enlightened ego is basically a lightened ego actually. It's a very, very, very healthy ego. And once it is healthy, you don't feel its presence, you disidentify with that. So, yasya vikshepaha nasti. So, once viparita bhavana and manorajyam or mental restlessness has come down, for that jnani, brahmavitvam namanyate, even jnani status is dropped. He does not say I am jnani. because he considers to claim that I am a jnani, etc., is ajnanam. So, to claim that I should identify with the ahankara, etc., well, that is not jnanam, actually it is ajnanam. So, he knows I am apramatra Brahman, I am not even a pramata, etc. So, there is a question, and so definitely there is no question of a jnani status. That kind of a thing in a jnani, that kind of status is not there. That's how Kenopanishad says. Of course, we use in a different sense that one who says that I know Brahman, he doesn't know Brahman. And so, so that we use in a little different sense. But ultimately, we can give a different explanation of the same thing. So, Brahmavitvam na manyate, well, he does not claim that I am a jnani. Then who is he? Who is he? Brahmaiva ayam iti munayaha ahu. He is Brahman. That's all. Wise people calls him Brahman. He is jnani, ajnani, vilakshanaha. He is free from basically free from that notion that I am a jnani and free from the notion that I am ajnani also. Because both of them are jnani or ajnani, they are properties of ultimately ahankara only. So jnanam is mithya, jnani status also is mithya, only consciousness is satyam. So basically jnanam is mithya means vritti jnanam is mithya, we know that. So ajnanam is mithya, vritti jnanam is mithya, ajnanam is mithya, that's how vritti jnanam can help. If vritti jnanam can remove ignorance, well it must be of the same order of reality. And therefore, vritti jnanam is mithya, ajnanam is mithya, and swarupa jnanam is satyam. And therefore, I am just consciousness, pure consciousness, nothing else other than that. So, mithya jnanam and mithya jnanam, and basically he does not identify with that. And who tells this jnani as a Brahman? Because this Brahmaiva ayam, this is Brahman. They don't say this is Brahma jnani. I am Brahma. This is a Brahman. Who says that? Munayaha, paradarshina. Param darshayati. Param darshanam yasya. You can say that way also. So param, one who has clear knowledge of Vedanta, etc. One who can see the other end of the Veda. Veda's culmination. Veda begins from one shore, and the culmination of the Veda will be in knowing oneself. Right? And so one who has a clear knowledge about Veda or Vedanta, one who has seen the other end of the Veda, param darshinaha. Well, such people, or jnana nishtha, the people who have jnana, nobody can tell this person is a jnana nishtha or not, except jnana nishtha. The person who has gained abidance, he can tell he is a jnana nishtha. Nobody can tell. And therefore, basically, so they say he is Brahman. They don't say he is Brahma jnani, he is Brahman. And the person himself also have no identification that I am a jnani or etc. etc. No identification with the ahankara. Why? Ahankara has become very light, very healthy. Why? Because all the three things have gone. Which is attached to the ahankara has gone. First thing is ajnana, second thing is malam, third thing is vikshepa. All are gone with shravan mananam, nidhyasanam and karma yoga, etc. And now his ego, which we call enlightened ego, is very, very light. And therefore he disidentifies. Anything which is sick will draw your attention. And therefore, definitely, he is very healthy. His ego is healthy. So he easily disidentify with the ego. So then if he does not identify with the ego, we have to call him Brahman. If he identify with the ego, he is Brahma jnani. Well, but then if he does not identify with the ego, well, he tells himself as Brahman, and other Brahmanishta people also, well, the other wise people also tell him as just Brahman. Let's go to verse 68. Darshana darshane hitva swayam kevala rupatah yastishthati satu brahman brahmana brahmavit swayam. So, at this level, he is no more enamored by jnanam also, because he knows that jnanam is mithya and belong to mithya ahankara or a pramata. Right? Pramata has a prama, and the pramata is a mithya, ahankara is a mithya. So he is not enamored by his this superior ahankara, enlightened ahankara, etc., that I am a jnani. So, then all of them becomes a play in a mithya prapancha for him. So, Jivan Mukti is not a big affair for a Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukti is not a big affair, because when Jnanam and this enlightened ahankara is mithya, then benefits enjoyed by that ahankara called mukti, etc., Jivan Mukti, etc., is not enabled. Because basically Jivan Mukti is associated with ahankara. We cannot call Atma is Jivan Mukta. Atma is Nitya Mukta, not Jivan Mukta. So this Mukti, Bandhanam, all this pertaining to ahankara only. And since ahankara is mithya, Jivan Mukti also is mithya actually. And therefore he is not enamored by Jivan Mukti. So it's an amazing thing Vidyaranya discusses. I have never found such discussion anywhere. Anyway, so like I give you example. Like you are not enamored by your movement of your hand. Suppose you go to some hospital and some person has a very serious problem that he could not move his hand at all. He was also trying, and the doctors also are struggling to make his hand move, but it doesn't move, and you are seeing it. Or let's say it's a disease, so some person's movement of the hand is too much, like in Parkinson, Well, when you see this kind of a thing, then your love for your hand increases, and you value the health when you contrast with ill health, right? And so, same way you value mukti. Let's say Jnani values mukti, where actually when he sees the bandhanam around, when he sees the bondage around, he may value mukti. But basically, here